And Shaney, you've just been a rock star in the community for years, and I know it's because at the heart of what you do is just love for others. So you volunteered in a lot of different places. So please, volunteers make things go. So what have you made go in your lifetime here in the Salem-Keizer area?
Oh, serving and volunteering really is what fills my cup, and helping others and giving back. So much was given to me when I was growing up, kind of not the greatest of childhoods, but I was loved by a single mom, and didn't always have enough to eat, didn't always have enough money to literally keep the lights on. So just really taken care of by our community and our church family. And so that really created a foundation in me on the importance of giving back and caring for the people in our community. So really wherever I can serve, whether that I've done served and volunteered Easter Sunday, Easter breakfast at UGM, different things for Samanka, which has a special place in my heart and my family's heart. So, but really, wherever we can give back and serve, and wherever is needed.
Yeah. So you have really had a special heart for children.
Yes.
Help us understand all that wonderful work that's going on to protect children.
Thank you. Yeah, I think part of that, kind of that special love for children and families that are at risk and vulnerable really stems from my childhood and the challenges that my family, myself and my single mom faced.
Yeah.
But the thing that I've been involved with for almost the past decade has been CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates, and they work to recruit and train volunteers in the community to provide best interest advocacy for children in foster care and going through the court system. So I've done that both at the local level, where I led our local Court-Appointed Special Advocate program, or CASA, for almost 7.5 years, and then I've been with the National Court-Appointed Special Advocate organization for the last 2.5 years.
Wow, for a nationwide.
For national,
what's the scope of national? Is it like a couple dozen programs, or?
No. We have about almost 950 local and state programs across the country. We're in all 50 states but one, or in all of the states but one, so 49. And we have programs in the smallest, most rural communities, all the way up to our most urban cities in the country: Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York City. So our service area runs the gamut. So. And
CASA really is a volunteer organization. And what do advocates do for kids in foster care?
Sure. Yeah, I always called it kind of we are, when I was, and I still refer to CASA as being a community-owned organization. It's volunteer-driven, and it is staff-supported. And so without the volunteers, there would be no CASA work. And CASA was founded back in 1977 in Seattle, Washington, by Judge David Sukup, who realized that he was seeing these cases of kids that have been that were victims of abuse and neglect, and they were coming before him in the court, and he literally had no idea what was going on in their lives save for what he was reading in a court report. And so he thought to himself, well, if I had some people that I could train on what I was looking for and what I wanted to know, and they could come and report that during these court hearings, that would help me make the best decision possible for the children that are before me. And that is literally how CASA was born. It was the brainchild of a judge, and it has been a movement that over the last 42 years, 42, I'm not good at math early in the morning, but 40 some years.
Yeah.
And it really just has spread across the country. And so what a CASA volunteer does, they go through a pretty in-depth training. It's on average about 35 hours of training to learn how to provide best interest advocacy for children who are in foster care due to abuse and neglect and are considered under the jurisdiction of the court. So the volunteers visit with the child or the children. If it's a sibling set, they visit with teachers, therapists, doctors, coaches, other family members. Sometimes they can have an opportunity to talk with the parents, and they take all of that information that they've gathered and they put it into a court report, and they make recommendations on what they believe based on their conversations and their research.
Sure.
What would be in the best interest of the child.
Yeah.
And they report that to the judge in the form of maybe they give testimony or they speak in front of the court or they put it into a court report or both. It's different depending on where in the country you are. And then the judge takes that information and makes decisions, uses that to help inform their decisions on the child's future.
Wow, what an important. And we're seeing, particularly in the women's shelter, Samanka Place, many more ladies with their kids.
Absolutely.
And or foster children. And so homelessness that we're tackling here is affected. It affects the foster cares, the kids in foster care, and how they're taken care of.
1,000%. And we know, all of this, the science and the studies and the data tells us that children do better when they're with their families of origin. And so if we can come alongside our parents that might be in Samanka, the moms with their children in Samanka House, and we can come alongside them and the children can stay with their mom and we can support them in partnership, and I say we, I mean the community can support them, and even if they are having a CASA, because you can have a child be with their parents and still be involved with the foster care system.
Sure.
And which is even more important for CASA volunteers, right? Yeah. But if we can do whatever we can to keep those families together and help them, right? Give them a hand up and help them, move into employment, move into stable housing. It's just going to be better for the family.
Sure. We were blessed to be able to have our New Life Fellowship program, which is obviously our strongest belief, and what proves out is that Christ changes lives and transforms lives. But we have our first lady graduating in March, whose teenage son has been with her through the whole program. So we're blessed to understand that not only do we care for ladies in trauma, but we care starting, particularly later this year with some improvements to Samanka Place, ladies with their kids, because we see that that's a big part of their transformation and their ability to stay in the program if your child is with you.
If your children, if you can keep your family together. And just to take that one step further, Dan, think about what that teenage boy is learning.
Yeah.
Right? By watching a community come around his mom, come around him. And support his mom in overcoming this temporary, momentary, in the grand scheme, when you look at life and our lifespan in general, this obstacle, this roadblock, or this road, bump in the road.
Right.
And watching her overcome that, can you imagine? I know what it was like watching my mom overcome a lot of those roadblocks, and just the amount of respect.
Yeah. One, we've been blessed to have interviewed and spent time with a lot of men and women lately in the last couple of days. But one of the things that rings true in every story, because their story is our story.
Absolutely.
I mean, it really is. And so this is not them and us, it's we. And what happens is when the men and women who go through recovery in the New Life Fellowship program and accept Christ, guess what happens? They turn right around and turn right back to, how can I help? How can I help? And this young man that's been through the program with his mom, just like 99 times out of 100, that they will be serving because they've been served. What a beautiful realization. So and your involvement in the community as well. You're a leader. You came out of circumstances and you've been responsible for helping many families. It's about families being put back together again. But you're also involved in the community in a number of other ways. So please share that if you would. You look like I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, but
I have a privilege and honor of serving my community in Kaiser as a city councilor, and also my peers on the city council choosing for me to serve as the council president.
Wow.
Alongside of them. So that's my entering my beginning of my fourth year on city council, and my beginning of my third year as council president. So really grateful for that privilege and that honor, and using my hope is I can use my life experiences and some of the roads that I've traveled to help bring positive change and make a positive impact in serving my community.
Yeah, wow. Well, thank you for doing that. That's all volunteer work.
It is all volunteer work, yes. In addition to the paid.
Do you have
paid
time
role.
for a life with all this volunteering?
Heavily involved in our church as well. So
Yeah.
that in building and starting a church plant this year. So.
Yeah. So can you show us a little bit about what's going to happen or might happen?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we were part of one of the founding families, if you will, starting families with Crossroads Fellowship. Our first meeting was on February 18th at the Rec Bowling Alley.
Yeah.
So we met in a bowling alley for almost a year. I love that. And we had all the puns, right?
Strikes and spares, yeah.
Yeah, all of the puns. But really grateful to Valor Mentoring and the Rec for hosting us. But we just recently, on December 31st, closed on purchasing the former Faith Lutheran church building, and have moved in there and began meeting there. We'll call that entire property will be called we're calling it the Faith Center, and recognition of Faith Lutheran's legacy in the community, and a way to carry that on and make sure that
Right.
stays on. But we host and will be hosting, continuing to have the Kaiser Community Food Bank operate out of that location. And we host two other churches as well. Hope Fellowship, which is a Pacific Islander-based church,
Oh,
and
wow.
then Iglesia Fellowship, which is also just a Latino
yeah.
church as well.
Wow. I'm hoping maybe this last question is one you're comfortable with, but how has your family been impacted by the love and care of Samanka Place?
Leave it to Dan Clem to always get somebody a little choked up. But Samanka House played a very significant role in our family. We have a very close family member who actually utilized Samanka for a period of time in their life, and it was the day before Thanksgiving about 7 years ago when we
Oh, wow.
took this family member to Samanka and love them.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's
That's
until you have
experience it.
experienced that, turning around and walking away from someone that you love very much.
Wow.
It's hard to understand what that is like. But I know, I can tell you now that this family member, because of what Samanka did and the door that Samanka opened to this person and to our family, really, that Samanka has played a role in not just impacting that generation, but they impacted the generation before us.
Yeah.
They impacted their generation, and then they impacted future generation because of being able to move on in their recovery, move forward in their recovery, and have a healthy family
Praise
and
God.
child.
Praise God.
Yeah.
These are good tears now.
Good tears.
Good tears now. Wow.
The
Oh, Lord.